There's going to be a lot of sound issues here. This is a very important interview, but this is the best we could get with the sound. Later on in the interview, the sound will get better. It seems like Vaughn Benzer may have had a cover on the mic. Uh, this is done by Bravo, Brotherhood Rally of All Veterans Organizations. They're in Woodland Hills, California. They're defunct now.
First 70th tank battalion, the first tank battalion in existence. I was enlisted man for 9 months. Then Pearl Harbor, and they sent me to OCS, first company, and whatnot. I was still a private, by the way. And then March and graduation, I was called in by the commandant. Colonel Renier was his name. He sat me down. He said, ordinarily we don't discuss assignments with new second lieutenants, but you were tops in your class. By the way, no great deal. I was the only college guy I think in the class. In peacetime, the Army was made up of mostly enlistees. Anyway, he said, we decided to send you to Negro troops. He said, what do you know about Negroes? I said, well, hero, Joe Lewis. I was on the boxing team at Yale, so Henry Armstrong. And his dad had one of the, really had owned part of his business, a black man that dad was in school with, high school. In those days, only the poor were segregated together. Lloyd Payne was his name. Dad said they had an Irish gang on the north side of Pittsburgh, and Lloyd, because they had an Irish gang, was in it. By the way, Art Rooney was the head of that gang, of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, he said, you have no prejudice. And I said, no, I wasn't raised that way. Mother was Irish. But I fought black kids in the amateurs, and no. He said, you're perfect. He said, we're sending you down there with some Southern officers. You better listen to them because they know Negroes. Oh, all right. We went down. Then Dad took me to see Ira Lewis, who was editor-in-chief of the Pittsburgh Courier, which was sold all over the United States. And Mr. Lewis said, turned to my father and said, you have influence. Do not send your son, allow them to send your son to Louisiana with race troops, and black troops. Dad had, we were both classical scholars. He had a lot of, like, duty before self, all that business. No son of mine shirks his duty. And so Ira Lewis said, you don't know what's down there. He said, the men won't like him because he's white. The redneck officers are going to hate him because he has an Ivy League accent and because of you. His dad worked for Roosevelt, working for $1 a year. So Dad said, well, Dad was right. He said, this is the greatest opportunity any soldier ever had. Transition. And of course, Mrs. Roosevelt was the power behind this. It wasn't popular in those days to do anything for Negroes, but she had plenty of courage. And Dad knew the Roosevelts well. So I get to camp. We're passing through the nice white barracks, and a guy named Chico from Detroit driving me. I said, well, where? He said, Lieutenant, you'll see. I looked down in the valley. It was like a Civil War lithograph. Weather-beaten tents. He said, you're in that tent top of the row. And I thought, good God, as an officer, I expected at least have something. And the next day, I reported into Captain Barnes, 758 tank battalion. They put me in. And Captain Barnes sent me and said, boy, I'm going to teach you about Negroes. I didn't know what to say. Then he whispered, he said, you're down here with Eleanor Roosevelt Niggers, boy. And I thought, what is this? He said, these people you got to handle different. He said, you're young and you're from up east. See, Dad, Ira Lewis put my face on the front page of the Pittsburgh Courier. It was headline. Pittsburgh industrialist son and politician goes with race troops. So Captain Barnes had this. He said, boy, your old man got some influence. He knows what he's doing. But these niggers ain't going to fight. Your old man put you in a safe place. Imagine telling me this. This is the greatest war in history. Everybody wanted to fight. We had two heroes to fight. Hitler, Hirohito. I mean, who needed a better enemy than Adolf Hitler? So I'm sitting there. You ain't going nowhere. We just marking time down here. But then Sergeant Sam Turley came in, first sergeant. He says, Charlie, I want you to meet our new second lieutenant from up east, from the uppity college, Yale University. So I shook hands with Sam Turley. Captain Barnes said, Turley, get out of here. He sticks his finger out at me. He said, boy, never put yourself on the same level with a Negro. I went, what? Because my first sergeant in the 7th Tank Battalion, when I went to OCF, our captain and colonel had us both to dinner. Sergeant Beth brought his wife. I said, first sergeants run the army. They command respect. He said, boy, you don't know nothing. He said, you're up at that college, the only niggers you see up there are chauffeurs. So I said, well, what the heck can I say? So 2 weeks later, he called me and said, boy, I'm getting rid of your uppity self. You're going over. He said, April Fool's Day, they created another Negro tank battalion, 761st. So he kicks me out and Turley. He said, you done ruined my best first sergeant. I can go into the southern accent. So Turley said, Lieutenant, we're going to go, we're both going to be in sea company. And he said, now listen, I'm an old soldier from the 10th Cavalry. Don't make mistakes. He said, these whites aren't going to like you. Already they're whispering, a little rich boy from Yale, whose father's a big politician, and you just, I will try to help. He said, besides, maybe you better transfer out. By the way, any young white officer could transfer out. And my old man wouldn't let me. You know, he had all this. By the way, when I got to the railroad station, he said in ancient Greek, come back with your shield or honor. That's the Spartan. I said, Pop, God's sake, please. I said, we don't have shields in tanks. And I said, Pop, get me the hell out of here, because I could see. I never went out on a date. The white girls thought I was black because I wore the panther patch, and the black girls thought I was white. I was like a monk, and I got all the lousy dudes. They made me a morale officer for a laugh. I was the only Yale guy in the whole. I had to pick the full colonel's daughter to all the dances. It wasn't very pretty, and he knew I was safe being a gentleman. And then it started. I saw the men humiliated, the back of the bus, and then my father told me over the phone, he says, now if you've got to be with them or against them, don't take any privileges that they can't have. Well, that meant sitting in this thinking next to sewage disposal plant in a tent, and I didn't even go to town, except we had drunk patrol every Saturday night. I want you to guess who caught that. I was a single young officer. We'd go in, and if any of the men were in the cops, we'd throw them into the truck because the white cops were rough, and the black MPs were almost as bad. In Lee Street, we had brothels, bars, fist fights, and stabbing. So it was a nightmare. And I called my friend and said, I got to get the hell out of here. This unit's not going to fight. And every day you heard at the white officers club. By the way, when I would walk in, they had a song, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, I'm dreaming of a white battalion. That was the theme song. And we had black bartenders hearing this. And the men naturally knew what most of the white officers thought. And we had some incompetent ones. I'm not even going to name them. Some West Pointers, they didn't know what to do with it. And so it went. My Captain Seals from the Southerner wasn't a bad guy. He said, hey, boy, you do what you want to do. He said, if you want to shake hands with the first sergeant. He said, old Barnes resented you because he thought you were uppity. He said, putting on with big words, which I probably did. I wanted to irritate him, so I would use impeccable language, and Captain Barnes used double negatives, and so we didn't get along.
What is the purpose of this conference today?
Well, in 1944, I had a good company. Most of the time we operated alone. The colonel would send us out. We were 101st Regiment, the 26th. By the way, Colonel Abrams, CCB, got his tail kicked with the CCB with 30 tanks. Then the colonel called me and said, it's your turn now. So I only had 8. So I called the guys together. I took them on a patrol. We did a lot of patrol work. Look and see, and we took a look at it. The objective was a little town at the bottom of a valley. The bridge was out, high ground behind, and I had heard an OCS that it was almost. Once you got off the hill, you couldn't get back. Abrams tanks were all over the place. And I thought, good God, we're going to get. So I said to the guys, well, we got to go. So at dawn, November 16th, we jumped to get down the road. And I took 1 to 4 tanks up here, Rivers and his lieutenant. I said, when you go down the road, I'm going to cover the right tank. And the guy said, here's the right phosphorus, knocked out one of my tanks, Lieutenant Cahill. We got loaded. I said, let's get into the little railroad station. The Rivers let off, my section behind him. They hit a double pellet. The German one, his tank up in the air. And he gets out, and the crew gets out. And we had a rule, if they got out, if they stayed in the tank, they were dead. The tank blew at the bottom of it. So I go over, and called the medic, and I looked at that, it was laid open to the phone. And I remember saying, Reuben, you got $1 million. You'll be home with circumference in 6 weeks. So I got a sigh right out, the medic come up, I said, get the stretcher, get the medical jeep. So I'm about ready to hit him with morphine, and he pushes my hand away. He says, Captain, you're going to need me. This is going to be bad. I said, I'm giving you a direct order. He said, this is one order. I said, this is me. He was a good son, staff sergeant, good sergeant. And he gets up, and the medic said, Captain, it didn't bleed. I don't know why, but it didn't hurt either because shock. The wounds don't hurt after about an hour. He hobbled over, gets another tank. Henry Conway, Sergeant Conway, Captain, he took my tank. Conway, get his crew, join the infantry, and get your Tommy guns, and stay with us. So that night, at Reuben, we all went into the railroad, hid behind the house. The engineers had to put the bridge in. By the way, when I was talking to them, they marked it. Listen, the Germans could fight with smoke. I thought, probably the mortars would come in. They had big mortars. And so we went in, and I inspected them. I went to every tank that night to see, see if the men were all right. And he had a poker face. I said, it must hurt, really. I said, no, once you cross the bridge, there's no coming back. Because the infantry patrol told me that the enemy was trying to move around behind us. And I thought, you can't get there. I start shelling that road because the infantry reserves is coming up. And he said, 2 days not going to make any difference. So we held for another day. So at dawn, I go up again, it's still dark, and I said, Reuben, how are you? I said, we're jumping off, you and James cover, West and I are going to take the rest of the company down the road to a place called Burgletrop. Big artillery. You know what TOT is? Time on target. 155. We're going to blast them good. So I start out, Weston ahead of me. Jesus, you could tell the 88 to make a distinctive, and they hit his gun. And I look through the glass, and I see moving out of the wood 5 Panther tanks. That was the tough guy with 76s, and a Panzerjäger with an 88. So I called everybody, and I said, Hammond, get back. I see a tracer go into him, but he was attacking through an orchard. And the tank started to smoke. So I said, Reuben, get your section back. And he said, I see him, DJ. He said, I said, get back. And I saw tracers come out of his gun. And then I saw the big tracer hit his turret. And then a runner come up and said, Colonel Lyons, the infantry just lost his eye and a leg. You're in charge. So I told the runner, get the grunts back, have them hide inside the bleachers. They got too much for us. And besides, then another bundle of joy. The infantry said, sir, they're coming around behind us. And I thought, well, once you're in houses, let them attack. Well, just so I had the cannon company from the infantry there. And then the war is funny. There was a lull. Everybody wanted silence. And the medic said, I'm checking the tanks. My job was to identify my dead. And we had a rule in the company, go after the wounded because tank wounds are terrible. they get out of that tank, there's a leg off. I found that one guy called Ivory Hilliard had run towards the enemy lines, so we took a patrol out. And the company commander isn't a hero. When you take a patrol, you're doing what you're supposed to do. So I would ask for volunteers. And I had some tough guys, Johnny Stevens, who would cut your throat in a minute, a tough, nasty staff sergeant. And all my sergeants were tough. Weston was another one. And I told Ted Weston, I said, Weston, don't let anybody through there. He said, the whole so-and-so German army ain't coming through here. He took my tank. We couldn't find Hilliard. So then Ray Roberson, the medic sergeant, came and said, I don't want you identifying Sergeant Rivers or Hammond. He said, won't do you any good to look in there. He said, here's Rivers' watch, and I take care of everything. I said, Ivory Foxworth, he's in the church, he's wounded. And I thought, by the way, we were supposed to be pinched out. Military men know what that means. While we protect someone going to, well, in war, things don't happen that way. Then that afternoon, a runner come up, infantry guy, he said, we are pinched out, Captain. Then along comes Colonel Hunt, who took Colonel Bates's, our colonel got shot the first day. And he's sitting in a half-track, standing there looking like immaculate. And he said, Williams had quite a battle here. I said, yes, sir. I said, the TD captain come and said, listen, this company stayed in there. I didn't have much of a company left. And there was infantry guys all over the place. Infantry takes terrible casualties. I said, I want to put Sergeant Rivers in for the Congressional Medal of Honor. He said, what did he do? He got the Silver Star already. I said, sir, that was from November 8th. He's up in that tank there. And I gave him the scene. He said, well, put it in writing. And he didn't show any interest. He says, I'm relieving your company. I said, what company? I said, I need replacements. They used the word reinforcement because they thought replacement sounded too, I said, I need replacement. I lost an officer today. I lost Cahill. He's wounded. He's back. I haven't got any officers. He said, we'll see about it, make battlefield commissions. Well, I carried bars in my pocket. I said to my radio guy, Herman Taylor, I said, you're a lieutenant. He says, you know what you can do with that bar, don't you? He says, I ain't leaving this tank. He says, I'm your radio man. So I went to my driver, Lomas. I said, do you want to be a lieutenant? He says, you're out of your mind. So Chico took long. But I don't blame him because we had, listen, half my officers were killed and all of them were wounded at one time because in a tank unit, if the officer's good, you can't sit back, even the company commander, and give orders. You have to fight your tank or your rifle, whatever. And the casualties among second lieutenants and captains and lieutenant colonels infantry, very high. Well, Colonel Bates got shot on a patrol the day before we went into the big attack. And
What happened with the recommendation for the
Well,
Medal of Honor?
I called my company clerk who still arrived. There's only 10 of old A company arrived. I said, Charles, what happened, what significant thing happened November 20th? He said, I know about yesterday. You came back, you were in a muddy field, you dictated a citation to Reuben Rivers. We had witnesses. You and I took it to a place called Hampont, France. We went in and gave it to Colonel Hunt. I said, what was your reaction to Colonel Hunt? He said, well, I never liked him. He always made remarks about us, how he was, well, he got a Silver Star for coming up to see us. And so I wasn't impressed with him at all. And I told Ashby, get out, I want to talk to Colonel Hunt alone. I said, Colonel Hunt, are you going to do this? And I'm not going to use the profanity that I use. He says, you're insubordinate, William. I said, let's have the court-martial. I said, you sit back on your pontifical ass, come up and smell the battle, and I understand you're getting a cluster of your Silver Star. Are you going to take that to Colonel Sears of Group? And he asked, I said, you should hand carry it to Group, then Division, Corps, then take it to the Green Hornet. That's what we called it. We didn't call them Blanton. That's the Green Hornet's what we all called it. Take it to the general himself, and I know Patton loved the soldiers, especially non-combat. There wouldn't have been any question about it. I know very well, and by the way, I have a secret document sent to me by West Point. 2 years ago, I spoke at West Point about how we handled tough Negro troops in World War II. It didn't go over very well, because I had Big Sam, the first sergeant. If they didn't get out of bed in the morning, he would dump them out of bed. And he was taking his shirt off every other day to fight some guy who would challenge him. But anyway, Colonel Sears, after the war, Colonel Sears and Hunt went to the Department of the Army War College. They put this secret and talked about Negro troops, how terrible we were. Words like slothful, cowardly. They thought only chasing white women, filling their bellies, and getting comfortable shoes. Then they made a backhanded compliment to me, only good when led by a tough, aggressive, young white officer. Well, that's nonsense. Gates was listen, our black company commanders were good. I worked with Gates, very good. I was in Europe for the celebration of the Battle of the Bulge in last December. So I said, I'm going to go to St. Avold Cemetery where my guys are buried. Thank God I had read that thing before I went over, because they're still there, rivers and turning mountains. And they kept this secret. Absolutely scathing. And Sears, the big fat slob, he never came to the front. He read us a commendation from General Eddy. And so warm was we were cold, we had just come off the line, and I was looking at this fat slob up there talking about bravery and all that junk. So he said, Williams, I want to see you in the, we were in the German barracks in Sardinia. I want to talk to you about something very serious. He said, Captain, this is top secret. So at that time, brass you don't care. The front is different. You look at the rear echelon like they're parasites. He was so warm, he's drinking coffee and eating cakes and made all the mess personnel get out. He says, you're going to have an honor, you and the 761st. I said, what's that, sir? He says, you're going to point the big attack December 19th. Patton's going through here. So I brought him to the Siegfried line of the Rhine. I said, okay. We pointed for the 4th Armored Division, so we knew how to do it. Go in with the engineers, put the bridge, block out of the flank, and then let the big guys come through. By the way, we were always safer because they waited for the big guys to come through. Anyway, he said, and I'm going to tell you, he whispered, you're going to have 100 B-17s, low level dropping blockbusters. You're going to go in under blockbusters. Now, we could go in under artillery, but a blockbuster, we'd be bleeding at the nose. I said, Colonel, I can't take them under blockbusters. Suppose they don't, if it hits 20 yards away, we'll be unconscious. He says, button up, son, button up. And I couldn't fool the company. I went out to inspect them. The group came up with new tanks, replacements. I got a white boy to replace them, a German kid. And we didn't have anything. I was pinning bars on some of the Chicos, some of the tough guys. And they all knew something was wrong. Then, so we started, the 80th was attacking, the soldiers were attacking echelon, one division behind the other. And the rest of the 76th was being cavalry flanked with 106 flank guards. Oh, it was great. We're going to go to the Rhine. But I looked at each one and I thought, well, I don't think I couldn't tell. Actually, it was secret. I couldn't tell them. So we're moving in. The 80th was coming down, and only Patton would dare do this. He left the whole front open and was moving them, all divisions behind one another. 87th was behind us. CCB was really behind us, and then the 80th and whatnot. And then December 16th, we're starting to move, supply and everything. And rumors, something terrible had happened. But you see, in war, I was only concerned about the 100. We didn't really, that's somebody else's problem. The Germans had broken through near a place called Neufchâteau in Malmedy. Then I got a runner come up. He said, take your company to 347 and go into a rearguard action. I said, rearguard? What do you mean rearguard? Pat was trying to move his troops north. We couldn't find a German. I knew French, and one old German lady told me, La guerre finie. I took a patrol of my guys, it's a rifleman, into the Siegfried line. We couldn't, and in warfare, if you don't make contact, you don't know what, you lose control of your infantry. See, I had a company of infantry with us, TDs, a little task force. If you can't make contact, you start to worry. You look around. We couldn't find anybody. Hitler had moved them all up north. So Patton, he stretched out us and a TD, a 704 TD, in a big line to wait for the 44th to come up. Then, of course, we followed up. And my orders there would go through Reims, Bar-le-Duc, to a place called Bastogne and fight a meeting engagement, which soldiers will know. That's rough. It was foggy. And the Air Force couldn't do anything. And the Bulge is where we distinguished ourselves. We were on the tip. Our mission was to keep the 6th Panthers from coming around behind and trap the troopers. Abrams went in with his combat command into Bastogne. Cold, and I didn't have many men left. And we had infantry right off the boat, ASTP kids. The Army would take 17, 18-year-olds, say, we're going to send you to college. The casualties in the Bulge, 60 men were killed in 4 days in the trench foot. So I said to one sergeant, I said, where's your company command? He said, we don't have one. You're commanding us. So Negro troops weren't supposed to command white soldiers, but I had a tough sergeant, an ex-racketeer from Detroit. I said, Chico, you're a lieutenant now, take the infantry. He said, what am I going to do with these young kids? And then we went back. One kid with a Browning automatic, he didn't know how to fire. I said, well, how much training? It's 2 weeks. So we had young boys. One sergeant made training films in the States, Jewish guy, said, well, you're going to get a chance to use that, how you made those training films. He said, no, but I made how to prevent VD and how to salute. Reagan saluted. So now I looked through the glasses, and a Panzerjäger is a tank hunter, flat top. What we didn't know, the German army was regrouping, and they moved tank hunters to stop us. And our mission was to keep from rolling up. I had 8 lousy tanks, and I lost, right off the bat, I lost a lieutenant. And so I had to fight as infantry. And I'll tell you something, the caliber of my men. I called the sergeants in. I said, this time, you make the decision. I'm not going to send you out there. And I got a great compliment paid. Old Sergeant Weston said, you don't send us, you takes. This is a big difference. I said, well, we got to fight as infantry now. We've got 2 tanks left. And you make the decision. Now, this is the 6th Panthers, Pfeiffer's group over there. If we resist them, they're going to kill us and all these young guys. Sergeants, you tell me, do we fight it out or do I capitulate? So we had a gay, he was ex-mess sergeant who wanted to fight. And all this crap, I had 5 and they were very good. Anyway, he says, well, we're going to fight it out. I said, you really mean that, Walter? He said, yeah. And the other sergeant, black men can laugh when the roof falling in. They all started, I said, listen, shut up, they're going to hear you. Because at the front, it ain't like Vietnam where you whisper. I mean, everybody's real slow. Because the Germans would creep up on a listening post. So they all said, let's fight it out. And I had one, Chico was a profane. He said, let me tell you something. More niggers are going to be killed Saturday night in Detroit than they're going to kill here. I said, why? And everybody's laughing. See, among black men, the word nigger's thrown back and forth, and black ass and all that. Get your black ass. I said, a white guy said he got his throat cut. So we decided to fight, and I put the 2 tanks, and then the other sergeants were with the white boys, teaching them how to shoot the M1 and Browning automatic rifle. Then the infantry colonel, sent a word down, take a patrol out. Listen, well, we won. There was artillery hit our supply truck. So he said, Williams, report to me, and he said, you take the patrol. We ain't got anybody else. So I asked for volunteers, and the usual guys volunteered. We moved it was foggy. Walking out, and the damn sun comes out. And the lieutenant pushes me, and I heard something hit my leg. I said, Jesus Christ, a burp gun. And then we saw them running, and one of the kids with the BAR went after him. And Then they came after us. And the Germans knew how to fight. They were all dressed in white, hitting the ground. And the 17th Airborne, by the way, was supposed to come through us, but war is peculiar. Nothing happens on schedule. And I'm radioing where the so-and-so is the 7th. And he was the 17th Airborne. We can't hold much longer. Well, we did hold them, and then they evacuated me and everybody else. And that's where we did well. We held them off with not very much. And I'll say this for the white kids. They fought, and of course it's easy to defend and to attack. You attack, you're going to get your tail handed to you, but we did it. And then we had a good mortar crew, some 81s on them, and then the infantry gave us a weapons company, some older soldiers. We found that sometimes 35-year-old men were much better than an 18-year-old boy. And they sent some hard-bitten veterans up to us, and then an anti-tank outfit up, towed guns, 90 millimeters. So we held. I go back to the hospital, the big tip, he was mine, he got hit in the tail. We're picking up the Stars and Stripes. 17th Airborne saves day at Bastogne. I thought, this is the... Well, they were good. They got off the trucks and marched right through. They were tough, but they didn't save the day. My company and 2 companies of infantry saved the day.
Most of the people alive today don't realize that our military was segregated during World War II and prior to Korea, basically. And the units, the 442nd, the 100th Battalion, all the
Japanese
black organizations did well. How many black American troops received the medal during World War II?
It was subtly told to me, don't put anything in over Silver Star. We called the battalion commander's good conduct medal. I got one. And it was almost, once they saw 761st N behind it, Silver Star, I didn't deserve any more. But Sam Turley of C Company, again, I wasn't a witness to it, but Sam got out of he shouldn't have been in the tank and charged this emplacement. I went up, Colonel Hunt asked me to critique it. So after they hadn't even picked the bodies up, and I saw Sam's body about 20 yards away from the gun emplacement, the Germans were dead and he was naturally